Pure water. Cold, pure water. Sharon's voice echoed through the crowded Lagos market. The sun blazed overhead as she balanced a blue basin on her head, weaving between stalls like thread through fabric. Her bare feet hit the dusty ground with practiced rhythm, calloused from years of street selling. Sharon was 11, maybe 12. Her birth certificate disappeared when floods hit their neighborhood 3 years ago. What remained was her mother's wheezing breath at night, mounting medical bills, and a desperate need to keep the woman who raised her alive. She paused at a street corner, watching uniformed students chat in perfect English. One day, she would wear that uniform too. She would read books under mango trees and speak big English. But dreams don't pay for medicine. In the narrow alley behind Central Market, the air reeked of spoiled fish and engine oil. Vendors shouted, drivers honked, and someone bumped into a water sachet flew from her basin, bursting on the ground. "Watch where you're going, small girl," a meat vendor growled. Sorry, sir," Sharon whispered, bowing her head. She couldn't afford to lose another sachet. Each one sold meant 20 naira earned. She needed at least 60 cedis for Mama's next hospital visit. So far, she had 22. Last night, she had counted the money in the dark, listening to Mama's chest rattle like old iron sheets in a storm. Aunt Grace, the kiosk owner, warned her that government workers would soon clear illegal structures, if they were caught without proper papers. "God, no," Sharon whispered, stepping around a pothole filled with black water. Her lips were dry, her stomach empty. "Small Sharon, bring me 2 pure water," a woman called from a plantain stall. Sharon ran quickly, handing over 2 sachets. The woman paid with coins and didn't ask for change. Sharon smiled faintly, but the smile faded when she reached the clinic compound. Mama wasn't outside today. That meant the pain was bad. Inside their makeshift home built from plywood and old zinc sheets, Sharon found her mother curled under a ragged blanket. Her forehead glistened with sweat, breathing coming in sharp, shallow gasps. "Mama," Sharon whispered, crouching beside her. "Sharon," her mother said weakly. "How was the market?" Sharon forced cheer into her voice. "Good. I sold almost everything. I bought you bread and milk." Her mother's eyes fluttered. "You're a good girl. Too good for this world." "Don't talk like that, Mama. Life is like a thread," her mother said softly. "Sometimes it breaks before the cloth is finished." "No, Mama, I won't let that happen." Sharon dipped a cloth in water and dabbed her mother's fevered forehead. Outside, a bell rang from the compound, a warning that health workers were coming for inspection. They might remove anyone without official papers. Sharon kissed her mother's hand. "I'll find a way. I promise." That evening, Sharon sat beside Aunt Grace's shop, legs pulled to her chest, watching water boil over 3 stones. She twisted the hem of her yellow dress nervously, still thinking of her mother's words. "Life is like a thread. Sometimes it breaks before the cloth is finished." "Here," said Aunt Grace, handing her a plate of plain rice with a small spoonful of stew. "Eat quickly. I don't want to hear you crying from hunger again." Sharon looked up, surprised. "Thank you, Auntie." Grace huffed, adjusting her bright headscarf. "Your mother was good to me when I first came to Lagos. She helped me mend clothes for food before the sickness caught her." Sharon nodded, unable to speak as she ate hungrily. Grace sat beside her. "Sharon, do you ever wonder about your father?" Sharon paused, spoon halfway to her mouth. "Mama said he died before I was born." "Yes, that's what she told me too. But," Grace lowered her voice, "there's something about that necklace you wear. It's not ordinary." Sharon instinctively touched the thread around her neck with its small bronze pendant. "What's wrong with it?" Grace squinted at the pendant. "I've seen something like it before. When I was young, I washed clothes for a rich woman in Victoria Island. One day, her daughter wore a chain just like that. When I asked, she said it was custom-made by some powerful man, said it was only made for his daughters." Sharon blinked. "But Mama gave this to me." "I know, and I don't mean to confuse you. But maybe, just maybe, your father was someone more than you know." The words rang in Sharon's ears. Could it be? Mama had always avoided questions about him, and now this strange coincidence with the necklace. Grace stood. "Eat, and don't talk about this with anyone." Lagos has big ears. That night, as stars blinked over zinc rooftops, Sharon lay beside her mother, who coughed in her sleep. She held the pendant between her fingers, staring into the darkness. Her father, a powerful man, or was it all just wishful thinking? The next morning began with blistered feet and scorching heat. Sharon woke before dawn to fetch water, returning to find Mama shivering, lips pale, blanket soaked with sweat. "Mama," she whispered, crouching quickly. "Should I go to the clinic?" Her mother shook her head weakly. "No, Money. Don't go. I just need rest." But Sharon wasn't convinced. She made up her mind. She would go to the pharmacy by the bus station and beg for medicine. Before leaving, she knelt beside her mother. "I'll be back soon. Don't be afraid." Her mother's fingers brushed her cheek. "Be safe, Sharon." At the pharmacy, the woman barely looked at her. "You again? I told you yesterday. Medicine isn't free." "Please," Sharon whispered. "Just one dose. I'll pay next week. I swear." The woman sighed and glanced around. "You think I own this place? If I give medicine for free, I'll be fired. Even cough syrup costs money." Sharon's eyes welled up, but she didn't let tears fall. She bowed and left, clutching her empty bag. Sitting on a broken curb, staring at her dirty feet, Sharon felt hopeless. There was nothing left to sell, no help, no hope. Behind her, a car honked loudly. Sharon turned to see a long black SUV roll past, wheels gliding smoothly over potholes that broke everyone else's cars. Through tinted windows, she glimpsed a man in a dark suit, face unreadable behind sunglasses. He looked like he belonged in another world, a world where sickness had no power and children didn't cry for medicine. Sharon looked down at her torn dress, then at her pendant. That world was a million miles away, but somehow it felt connected. Later that evening, back at the compound, Sharon knelt beside her mother, wiping her face with a wet cloth. "Mama, do you remember who gave you this necklace?" Her mother's lips twitched. "Your father. He wasn't a bad man, but he couldn't stay. He had a family, a different life." "Was he rich?" Sharon whispered. Her mother didn't answer. Sharon leaned forward. "Mama, was he the reason you said, 'I must never lose this chain'?" Her mother's eyes fluttered. "Sharon, promise me. Never steal. Even if you're hungry. Promise me." Sharon swallowed hard. "I promise." But inside, her heart screamed. Promises didn't buy medicine. 3 days later, the sound of coughing had become a daily horror. Mama lay shaking uncontrollably, skin taking on a sickly yellow hue, lips dark and dry, breath shallow. "Mama," Sharon whispered, pressing a cloth to her mother's burning forehead. "The water wasn't cold enough. Nothing was enough." "Sharon," her mother said weakly, voice cracking like old cloth. "I can feel it inside. It's like fire." They had visited the government clinic again. The doctor scribbled furiously, murmuring about advanced liver damage and possible internal infection. "Your mother is severely ill," he told Sharon outside the exam room. "She needs lab work and expensive antibiotics. Without treatment, she might not have much time." The words hit Sharon like a hammer. The doctor handed her a paper listing medications and tests. At the bottom, in capital letters, 50,000 naira deposit required. 50,000 naira. Sharon hadn't seen 5,000 at once in her whole life. Now, with her mother groaning softly beside her, Sharon sat on a wooden stool, legs bouncing nervously. A small bowl of half-rotten oranges and plantain chips sat beside her, her last hope. For 2 days, she had tried selling them at bus stops, near mechanic shops, by school gates. But no one was buying. No one even looked. She tried fetching water for neighbors, but they had their own children to send. She tried washing dishes at a local restaurant, but was told she was too small. This morning, desperation drove her to the streets again. Her legs were tired, her heart ached, but she kept trying. "Madam, please. Fresh oranges, only 50 naira." She called to a woman in a green lace blouse. The woman frowned. "Go read your books. Always children disturbing everywhere." Sharon swallowed the sting and moved on. She approached a man waiting for a taxi. "Uncle, please. Chips. Just small money." He shook his head. "No change." Sharon walked more, eyes burning, her mother's cough echoing in her memory. She passed fancy shops, saw other children playing and eating biscuits, but she wasn't like them. Then she saw a woman in royal blue lace, stepping out of a new SUV. The woman's heels clicked as she walked. Sharon dashed forward, standing directly in her path. "Madam, please buy orange. My mother is sick. She's dying. Please, I beg you." The woman stepped back, startled, but Sharon clutched her wrapper. "Please, please, madam. I haven't eaten. And she needs medicine. I'm begging you. She's dying." Sharon dropped to her knees, tears pouring down her cheeks. The street spun around her as the weight in her chest exploded. She grabbed the woman's leg. "Buy from me, please. She's dying," she screamed. A small crowd gathered. The woman pried Sharon off with effort, pulled out a crumpled 100 naira note, threw it in Sharon's bowl, and walked away quickly. Sharon sat on the roadside, shaking, hands clutching her tray like life itself. She didn't even notice where the money had gone. She just wanted to disappear. Standing slowly, the street spinning around her, Sharon wiped her face with the back of her hand. Traffic moved, people shouted, but she heard none of it. Just her heartbeat. And then she saw him. Mr. Davis stood tall and confident, dressed in a navy suit and expensive leather shoes. His phone was at his ear, voice low and powerful. He was laughing softly. On his wrist was a gold watch, and from his back pocket, his wallet sagged heavily. Sharon froze. He crossed the road, back to her, walking slowly. Her eyes went to the wallet, thick, stuffed, almost falling out. She heard her mother's cough again. She imagined the 50,000 naira. Just one chance. Her hands trembled. She took a step. Another. One chance for Mama. In one swift motion, she yanked the wallet from his back pocket and sprinted. "Hey!" she heard. "Hey! You thief! Come back here!" Sharon didn't look back. Her bare feet hit the pavement hard. People shouted. Motorcycles honked. Mr. Davis was shouting, pushing through the crowd. Sharon ran like the fire of her mother's sickness was chasing her. She ran like death itself was behind her. She clutched the wallet tightly, not knowing what it held, only knowing she had broken her promise. But promises don't buy medicine, and her mama was dying. Sharon's feet struck the pavement like thunder. She didn't dare look back. Her heart pounded louder than the screams behind her. The wallet felt huge in her tiny hands, clutched close to her chest like a shield. She weaved through busy Lagos streets, ducking under arms, leaping over gutters, darting behind parked vehicles. Behind her, Mr. Davis charged like a man possessed. "Stop that girl!" he roared, pushing past vendors and pedestrians. Sharon darted into a back alley, breathing ragged. She jumped over an old tire, slid under a low fence, and emerged near an abandoned bus station. Then she disappeared into the maze of shops and sheds that only locals truly understood. Mr. Davis reached the main road, sweating through his suit. People stared at him as he stood in the middle of the road, turning in circles. "Where?" he barked. "Where did she go?" But the city had swallowed her. Sharon didn't stop running until she reached a quiet alley behind an old warehouse. Panting, she leaned against the wall, slid down to her knees, and pulled the wallet into her lap. Her fingers trembled as she opened it. First came cards, Idaho S, a passport. She paused. It had his name. David Williams. Then, between the folds, her fingers brushed something thick. Cash. Bundles of naira. Stiff US dollar notes, neatly stacked. Her eyes widened. Her breath caught. This was more money than she had ever seen in her entire life. She stared for several seconds, chest heaving. Then guilt crawled in like 1,000 insects. She closed the wallet, and bowed her head. God, she whispered, please forgive me. I didn't want to do this, but Mama is dying. She's really, really dying. I didn't know what else to do. She looked up at the sky, clutching the wallet, lips quivering. Please don't punish me. Sharon stood, feet shaky but firm. She had no time to waste. Her mother needed that money now. She wrapped the wallet in a piece of cloth, tied it into a small bundle, and tucked it under her shirt. Minutes later, she was in a shared taxi, heading toward the government hospital. Inside the hospital, the air smelled of bleach and sorrow. Nurses moved briskly in starched white uniforms. The waiting area buzzed with quiet cries, murmured prayers, and groans. Sharon reached the reception desk. The woman looked up. Yes? Sharon's voice was barely above a whisper. My mother. Sharon. They brought her this morning. I want to pay for everything. The woman blinked. You? Sharon nodded. She reached into her shirt, brought out the wallet, and quickly pulled out money, laying it on the counter. The nurse's eyes widened. Wait here, she said, and disappeared behind a door. Sharon stood still, hands shaking, heart racing. Minutes later, the nurse returned. She's been moved to Ward B. The doctor says they can proceed with tests and medication. The money is enough. Sharon nodded. Thank you. The woman looked at her strangely but said nothing. In Ward B, Mama lay on a thin mattress, breathing still shallow but less labored. A nurse stood by the bed, adjusting a drip. Are you the daughter? The nurse asked. Sharon nodded. We've started with fluids. We'll begin tests shortly. You were lucky if you delayed any longer. She didn't finish the sentence. Sharon walked to the bed slowly, took her mother's hand, and sat down. Mama, she whispered. Her mother's eyelids fluttered, but she didn't speak. Sharon sat there for a long time, holding her mother's hand. Eventually, a nurse led her back to the waiting area. She sat on the hard wooden bench and waited. Her hands were empty now, her tray of oranges forgotten somewhere, the wallet gone. The fear still inside her, but for now, she waited for Mama, for healing, for what would come next. She didn't know what would happen when Mr. Davis caught up, but that was tomorrow's problem. Today, she had saved her mother. Hours passed. Sharon sat quietly on the cold hospital bench, eyes fixed on the corridor ahead. The smell of antiseptic hung in the air, mixing with the buzz of flickering lights. Slowly, she opened the wallet again. Her fingers pulled out documents, driver's license, passport, national ID, all official, all clearly important. These are very important things, she whispered. What if he's traveling? What if he needs to drive? I have to return them. She looked at the remaining cash. She had only paid the hospital what they asked for, nothing more. Her eyes welled with tears. She spotted a nurse walking toward her and stood up quickly. Please, nurse, she said, voice shaking. My mummy is in there. I've paid, but please take care of her. I'll be back. I need to find someone. The nurse looked confused but nodded. I'll come back. Please take care of her. Outside, the world bustled on as if nothing had changed. Cars honked, sellers called out their wares, buses sped down dusty streets. Sharon looked around. She had no idea where Mr. Davis lived. No phone, no address. God, she whispered, stepping carefully into the busy road. I tried. I know I didn't get this money the right way, but I tried. Please protect my mother. I just wanted to save her. Now I'm going to give back what's not mine. Help me find him. She searched blindly, peering into shops, scanning faces. Her heart beat faster every time she thought she saw a familiar dark suit. Then she saw it, a business card tucked in the wallet. Clean white paper, Davis Ventures Limited. There was an office address printed at the bottom. Sharon's heart raced. She folded the card carefully and placed it in her pocket. Thank you, God, she whispered. It took her another hour to reach the tall glass building in the heart of Lagos. The glass doors reflected her dusty, tired figure. People in suits walked past, barely noticing her. She clutched the wallet tightly and walked toward the entrance. "Excuse me," she said to the security guard. "I want to see Mr. Davis, please." The man looked down, surprised. "You? What for?" "I have his wallet. I want to give it back." The guard's expression softened. "Wait here." As the guard disappeared inside, Sharon leaned against the wall, pressing the wallet close. Her heart pounded. Her journey wasn't over yet, but she had come this far. Inside, she sat in the reception area, waiting. Her eyes wandered to a framed photograph on the coffee table. A young woman with a soft smile, bright eyes, and a gentle braid. Sharon gasped. The woman looked exactly like her mother, too much alike for coincidence. She picked up the photo, studying every detail. The curve of the chin, the way the eyes softened, the gentle smile. It was like looking at a younger version of Mama. "Is this really her?" she whispered to herself. "Or does Mama have a sister she never told me about?" The receptionist cleared her throat. "Little girl, you've been here a while. Are you waiting for someone?" Sharon straightened. "Yes, ma'am. I'm waiting for Mr. Davis. I need to return his things." "You have an appointment?" "No, ma'am, but I have his wallet." The woman raised her eyebrows. "You have what?" Sharon opened the wallet just enough for the receptionist to glimpse the photograph and documents. The woman's expression changed. "Just sit right there. He's not back yet, but I'll let him know when he arrives." Sharon nodded and sat back, chest tight. She whispered to God again, "Please, just let him come. Let me ask him who this woman is. I need to know why her face is in his wallet. I need to know if Mama is more than I think she is." Through the glass doors, she saw him. Mr. Davis stepped out of a black SUV, face hard and unreadable, eyes scanning the building ahead. Sharon stood up suddenly, unsure of what she would say. But one thing was clear. She had to ask about the woman in the photograph, and she had to return everything else. The sliding glass doors opened, and Mr. Davis stepped in with long, purposeful strides. Dressed in his sharp, dark suit, he radiated authority and control. Sharon saw him, her heart pounding wildly. For a brief second, she considered running. But no, this was her moment. She clenched the wallet tighter and leaped from the bench. "Sir! Sir!" she cried. Mr. Davis looked up, startled. He recognized the voice. His brows furrowed as the little girl rushed toward him. Sharon ran and dropped to her knees before him, right there on the cool tiles. She threw herself at his feet, clinging to his trouser leg as tears flooded her eyes. "Forgive me, sir. Please forgive me. My mother was sick. I had no choice. Please, sir. I didn't mean to steal from you." Mr. Davis stared down at her in shock, his firm posture softening. Staff members and the receptionist paused in surprise. All right," he said, voice low but steady. He gently helped Sharon to her feet. "Stand up. Come with me." The elevator doors closed, and they rode in silence to the top floor. His office was massive, glass-walled and sun-drenched, with polished floors and traditional artwork. "Sit," Mr. Davis said gently. Sharon obeyed, lowering herself onto the edge of a leather couch. She set the wallet on her lap, arms wrapped around it. Mr. Davis took a seat across from her, studying her quietly. "Tell me about your mother." Sharon looked up, eyes red from crying. She took a deep breath. "My mother is sick, sir. She has a liver problem. The doctor said she needed treatment quickly. She was coughing so hard, vomiting. Couldn't eat anything. We tried herbs and prayers, but nothing helped." She paused to wipe her nose on her sleeve. "This morning, neighbors helped us rush her to the hospital because she was very weak. They said she needed expensive medicine. I tried selling things, begging people on the street. I even held onto a woman's leg and begged her to buy from me." Her voice cracked with emotion. "Sir, I didn't plan to steal. I saw your wallet when you were walking, and it was sticking out of your pocket. Something just told me to take it. I'm sorry, sir. I know it was wrong, but I had to help Mama. I paid the hospital with the money, She's there now. She looked up into his eyes. If you want, I can work for you. I can sweep, wash cars, arrange files, anything. Just let me pay you back. I promised my mother never to steal, but for her life, I broke that promise. Mr. Davis remained silent, his gaze unmoving. He looked out the window for a long while, then back at her. You live with your mother? Yes, sir. Just the two of us. Where do you stay? Mushin, sir. Not far from the old water tower. In a house that belongs to my mother. He raised an eyebrow. She owns a house? Sharon nodded. Yes, sir. It's small, just 2 rooms, but she built it herself before she got sick. She worked hard and saved up to buy land. She said she didn't want to pay rent forever. Mr. Davis sat forward slowly, a strange look in his eyes. Don't you have any uncles, aunties? Anybody who can help you? Sharon shook her head. No, sir. Mama is an orphan. She said she never knew her real parents. She grew up moving from house to house, helping people, doing chores for food. One day, my father saw her and took her in. Your father? I don't remember much about him. Mama said he was a good man, just that the kind of life he lived, she didn't want me to grow up like that. I think he did some bad things, but she doesn't talk about it much. She always says he loved us. Sharon paused, her mind circling back to something she had seen earlier. Her eyes lit up with curiosity. Sir, in your wallet, I saw a picture. A lady. She looked just like my mama. Is she your wife? Or could it be because mama says she's an orphan? Mr. Davis blinked, clearly caught off guard. He reached for his wallet, opening it slowly. He pulled out a worn photograph of a young woman in her early 20s, face carrying soft strength, eyes kind yet distant. This one? He asked. Sharon nodded, leaning forward. Yes, sir. She looks so much like my mama, but younger. Mr. Davis's gaze remained fixed on the photograph. The corners of his mouth drew into a faint, almost painful smile. He leaned back, exhaling. This woman, he said quietly, is someone I wronged 11 years ago. Sharon's eyes widened. I met her when I was in Ibadan for business. She was pure, kind, and full of fire. I was drawn to her. I told her things that weren't true. I made her believe I was unmarried, free, and she trusted me. He paused, looking again at the picture. When she found out I was married, she didn't say a word. She just disappeared. She never wanted to ruin anyone's home. She had that kind of integrity. She left me, and I never saw her again. Sharon's heart pounded, breathing quick and shallow. She clutched her fingers in her lap, eyes never leaving his face. What is the name of this lady? Sharon asked, curiosity dancing in her wide brown eyes. Mr. Davis leaned back and stared at the ceiling for a moment, as if summoning a ghost from the past. Then he looked back down at Sharon and said, almost in a whisper, her name is Grace. Sharon's eyes lit up. She sprang to her feet and gasped loudly. My mummy's name is also Grace. Oh my God, it can't be. Sir, wait, you are my... Oh my God, you are my father. You must be my father. The words poured from her mouth in a high-pitched, excited rush. Her heart raced with shock, wonder, and something like joy. She bounced slightly where she stood, her simple ponytail swaying. Mr. Davis's eyes widened. For a second, he was frozen, unable to believe what he had heard. Then he grabbed his car keys from the desk. Take me to the hospital. Now. I need to see her. I need to see your mother. Sharon nodded rapidly and told him the hospital's name. Together, they left Davis Ventures, weaving through crowded Lagos streets in his sleek black SUV. The moment they arrived, Sharon leaped out and dashed inside. Mr. Davis followed, his pace hurried but cautious. They reached the ward, and Sharon pushed open the door. There, on a small hospital bed beneath a pale blue sheet, lay Grace. Her face was pale and tired, but unmistakable. Her simple braid lay over her shoulder, just like Sharon's. As soon as Grace opened her eyes and saw the man standing beside her daughter, her whole expression changed. Fury burned through her weak frame. "You!" she spat, sitting up as much as her strength allowed. "Who let this man in here? Nurse? Who gave him permission? Go away! You disgrace of a man!" Sharon jumped between them, clutching her mother's hand. "Mama, please calm down. Please don't get angry. You're still weak." "Grace," Mr. Davis began softly, stepping closer. "I know I wronged you, but I'm not the same man anymore. I didn't know you were pregnant when you left. If I had known—" Grace cut him off. "If you had known, what would you have done? Lied again? Used my child to fix your guilt? You tricked me, David. You didn't tell me you were married until I had already given you everything." She was trembling now. Sharon kept her hands wrapped around her mother's as tears streamed down her face. "Mama?" she whispered. "I went looking for help. I didn't mean to find this, but he's my father, isn't he?" David's voice was filled with regret. "Why didn't you tell me? We could have worked something out. I could have supported you, supported our daughter." Grace turned her head away. "Because I didn't want to destroy your home. I didn't want to be the woman who broke a family. I chose to walk away. I raised her on my own." Sharon looked up at her mother, then at her father. "Please, can't we just talk? Mama, I love you. I didn't want to lose you. That's why I did everything I did. I stole for you. I begged for you. I fought for you. And somehow, God brought me here to him, to my father." The ward was silent for a moment. Then Grace turned to look into her daughter's eyes. "Sharon, you're only 11. You shouldn't have had to carry this burden." "But I did, Mama. I had to. You were all I had. I couldn't lose you." David stepped closer. "Grace, please let me make things right. Let me help you now, even if I failed back then." Grace's voice was raspy, but her spirit was strong. "I forgive you, David. Not because I forgot the pain, but because of my daughter. She deserves peace. She deserves the best. And right now, I can't give her that." Sharon held both their hands in hers, tears still running. The day Grace was discharged was bright and peaceful. Sharon held her hand tightly as Mr. Davis walked beside them. A black SUV waited outside, but Sharon insisted they take a taxi. Her mother wasn't ready for all the attention and formality. Back in their modest two-room house, Grace lay down on her familiar bed, sighing with relief. The air was stale, but it was home, hers. Mr. Davis cleared his throat. "You don't need to stay here anymore. You and Sharon can come live with me. I can give you the best." Grace sat up, brows furrowing. "And your wife? What about her?" There was a long silence. David looked down, a shadow crossing his face. "She died," he said quietly. "In a car accident 4 years ago, along with our only child. I've been alone ever since." Grace's face softened. "I'm sorry," she whispered. He nodded. "Thank you. But now I've found a reason to smile again. I want to be there for Sharon, for both of you." Grace straightened up, her tone calm but firm. "I am not going to be anyone's second option. I'm grateful you want to be in your daughter's life, and you deserve to be. But I will not leave my home. Sharon stays with me. You can see her on weekends, spend time with her, do all the wonderful things you want as her father. But she is my daughter. She is mine, and always will be." David nodded slowly. "I understand, and I respect that. Thank you for letting me in." Life began to change after that day. Grace slowly regained her strength, getting better with each passing week. She refused David's offer to set up a business for her. "I can take care of myself," she told him firmly. "I've done it before, and I'll keep doing it." The only one who needs your support is Sharon. She deserves the best. David poured all his energy into making sure Sharon's life became smooth and joyful. Soon, Sharon was enrolled in one of the best private schools in Lagos. Her eyes sparkled when she saw the school's wide compound, green lawns, bright classrooms, and smiling faces of children her age. She hadn't stepped into a classroom in nearly a year, but now she had new uniforms, new books, and new dreams. Every morning, David's sleek black car would stop in front of their two-room home. A respectful driver would open the door for her. Grace, with her simple braid tied neatly behind her, would pack Sharon's lunch and hug her goodbye. "Study hard, my girl," she always whispered. "I'll make you proud, Mama," Sharon always replied. Weekdays were for school and home. Sharon studied hard, made friends, and told her mother everything that happened during the day. On weekends, David would pick her up. Saturdays were for outings. Bookstores, the cinema, the beach. Sundays were sometimes for church, sometimes for ice cream, and always for stories about his youth, his regrets, and his love for her. He decorated a room in his house just for her. Pink walls, a desk for homework, and shelves filled with books. But Sharon never slept over. "Mama needs me," she always said. And David never argued. He would drop her home by evening, wave goodbye, and drive off with pride in his heart. Grace and David spoke sometimes, brief conversations, updates about Sharon, nothing more. But there was respect, an unspoken understanding, a bridge built not out of romance but out of co-parenting and shared history. Sharon, in her quiet strength, had brought them back together, not as a couple, but as a mother and father learning to raise their child in love, even from separate homes. And though their lives had been shaped by pain, each day brought new hope. Grace had her day. David had his redemption, and Sharon had the love of both parents, steady, unwavering, and true. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you will be aware when I drop a new video. Drop a comment below with your thoughts, and don't forget to tell us where you are watching from. Kindly share this video with friends and loved ones. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.